Hey guys, welcome to the Artist Server. Today's video is going to be a little bit different, and mainly I'm making this video because I think it's going to help a lot of you guys out there who are building your own servers and you're shopping around on eBay or Amazon. So first of all, I want to start with this article on this forum called Serve the Home, which is a great place if you like computer stuff, server stuff, enterprise gear, anything like that. It's run by a gentleman named Patrick Kennedy. Wonderful guy, and I've been on this forum myself for a few years and really enjoy it. Really good company. So we encourage you guys to check it out. It's a great place. But recently there was this article about counterfeit Xeon CPUs on Amazon, and so I want to share this guy with you guys. So if you're out there shopping for a processor for your server, I want to make sure that you guys know about the counterfeit activity that's going on. And I'm also going to talk about a little bit about the counterfeit activity that goes on outside of this particular article, especially as it relates to LSI HBA cards and stuff like that I sell. So anyway, let me kind of just give you a brief overview of this article. Basically, what's going on is that people who have been buying processors off of Amazon, have discovered that they're getting counterfeits. And so I'll leave a link to this article in the description of this video for you, so you can go ahead and read it yourself. I'm not going to read it to you, but I'm just going to highlight and show you some of the pictures and talk about some of this stuff. But so this here is a photo of a supposedly a Xeon E5-2683V4. Right now, if you're familiar with these processors, looking at that picture, can you tell what's wrong with it? I mean, just if you're not, okay, I'll tell you in a second here. But if you are familiar with these things, looking at that picture, do you see the problem there? So here's the issue here. The IHS, this heat spreader, this is the heat spreader for a V3 Xeon. Yet the laser etching here says V4, right? So there's some effort on the part of the counterfeiters here, and I guess maybe laser etching isn't that expensive anymore or something like that. But I mean, I don't have one, but someone went to the effort of basically scrubbing whatever was here and then reprinting the information for the wrong processor. So basically, so this is the heat spreader for the V3, and over here, let me scroll down a little bit to kind of show you. So that's again the V3 heat spreader. This is the heat spreader design for the V4. See, so it's different. I mean, look at that. Look at this and look at that. It's a different design, right? So for people who are familiar with this type of hardware, you'll probably spot these indiscrepancies and kind of be suspicious. But for a lot of people, you might not. And this is why I'm making this video, for those of you who are shopping around. And maybe you're new to the enterprise gear world. You're building your first server. I have a lot of customers who are like that, who tell me, hey, this is my first real server build with enterprise gear. I don't really know what I'm doing. Can you help me out, right? So I want to make sure this message gets out to you guys. So anyway, yeah, this is definitely not right. And this is also the article is also telling, or I guess showing you the difference between the Sandy Bridge, Ivy Bridge processors. And then I think this is LGA 1366. So this looks, yeah, so that should not have a V2 on there, right? That's like the 5600, 5500 series Xeons. Let me see what else is here. Yeah, so look at this. Look at this picture. It says it's a E5-2640V4. Right? I mean, there's nothing close to even that or that. At least these are socket compatible, so you could drop this into a motherboard that supports V4. But this is totally different. It's a different socket, and this IHS is from an either Sandy Bridge or Ivy Bridge processor, and so instead, which is a V1 or V2, right? And so this says V4. So yeah, that's not good. And then here's the kicker, guys. People are buying these processors and they're coming in these official looking Intel branded boxes with the Intel label, the UPC code, and all that stuff. And so there is quite a bit of effort in making these look authentic. Certainly more effort than I've seen in the past. And so this is why I want to share this information with you guys out there. And here again, some V1 or V2 processors that are being relabeled as V4 processors or something like that. Yeah, and so I think this is the same one as the top, maybe, or is it not? This is a 2603. That was a, no, wait, hold on. Is that 2603? No, it's a 28. Okay, yeah. So this is probably the same picture as the one at the beginning of the article. So anyway, be aware of this type of stuff out there when you're shopping for enterprise gear. It does seem to happen, and I wouldn't want. I mean, of course, with Amazon, eBay, usually you're protected. Amazon Marketplace usually will protect the buyer, but it's never a pleasant process to go through something like that, and especially if this is a home lab type of thing, maybe it's not a big of a deal as long as you get your money back. But if you're like a small business or medium business and you've got deadlines and you have to use used enterprise gear to build your servers, which is a very common thing, this could delay your project. So you want to be careful where you buy from and maybe ask a lot of questions. If you see stuff like this in the photos, I would definitely avoid it. If it looks borderline, maybe at least ask a few questions of the seller. Okay, so anyway, I'll leave a link to this article again in the description of this video, so you guys can check it out and give it a read. And I do highly recommend you guys check out Serve the Home, a great place to be. I'm on there sometimes, so if you want to chat with me about something, you can find me there somewhere. Okay, anyway, I want to show you guys that first. But I also want to share with you about shopping on eBay, and in particular, you guys know I sell a lot of pre-flash IT mode HBA cards on my eBay store, and I go through a lot of effort to make sure that what I sell are genuine cards, okay, meaning they are not counterfeit. And I've run into situations where I've received a big box of cards that I thought were going to be genuine, and as I looked through them, they were not, and I had to send them back or file a dispute or do whatever I need to do on my end to try to get my money back. But I will never ever sell anything like that. Okay, even if they're known to be reliable or whatever, I just I don't want to deal with that kind of hassle. So especially for people who are buying from me, I'll deal with the hassle on my end with the vendors that I buy from, but I would not pass that kind of hassle down to anybody who's buying from me. So anyway, if you are shopping on eBay, and even if you're not buying from me, I want to at least share some advice with you. Okay, so let me kind of show you some of the things that I find on eBay that are really questionable. And one of the easiest ways to find those questionable things is, okay, so this is eBay, right? Let me search for something. LSI OEM. Okay, let's see what we find here. Okay. So here already are a few things that I find kind of questionable. Let me pull them up and kind of show you some of the differences. So this card in particular is always questionable. Some of you guys might have bought this 90116i from me. I go through a lot of effort to make sure that the ones I get are genuine, because these actually are really hard to find, and to find at a good price for me, so that I have some margin to go through the effort of flashing them and updating them and getting them ready for sale and testing them. Very hard for me to find them, and in particular trying to find ones that are genuine. So let me open that up in a tab too, and we'll talk about that in a second. Yeah, this is another one. I'll kind of show you what that's about too. Oh yeah, this one. Okay, so there's four of them. Let's just go over these four, okay? So the reason why I searched for this specific keyword, LSI OEM. LSI obviously because a lot of the HBA cards we're talking about for your ZFS or FreeNAS, Unraid, all that stuff, usually prefer LSI controllers, right? But I find that a lot of eBay sellers are using this OEM branding, or I don't know what do you call it, but description as a way to get around saying that, oh, you know, this is just like the genuine card, but it's OEM. So, you know, it's for someone who was going to slap a brand on it, but didn't, and they had excess inventory, or some whatever reason story they want to make up. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Well, you know what? This one doesn't look that bad. So this one, well, they're not. Okay, this one is from this photo I couldn't tell, but so one of the key things, by the way, so the reason why I'm kind of looking at this and saying, hey, this is maybe kind of okay. One of the key things I look for, and I don't really know why this is, but I've just noticed in my experience buying a lot of these cards, is that the people who are making counterfeits, they don't put the LSI logo on the cards. I don't know why that is. I mean, I would think, you know, if you're already going through the effort of counterfeiting, you know, why not just go all the way? But for some reason they don't. You know, and I doubt that it has anything to do with, you know, being sued for, you know, trademark violation or stuff like that, because I've sent messages, you know, when I was buying a lot of cards for myself and running into problems like this, I contacted Avago Technologies or Broadcom and, you know, tried to get in touch with their legal department and say, hey, look, I'm finding a lot of counterfeit stuff online. You know, are you guys interested in shutting this stuff down? And they basically said, no, not worth our time. So, so I don't think the counterfeiters have anything to lose really in putting the LSI logo here. I hope they don't start doing that, because this is actually one of the ways I distinguish. But anyway, I see the LSI logo on this card now, so, you know, maybe this is just fine. So let me close that one out. Okay, so yeah, this one definitely looks sketchy for a couple of reasons, and let me see if I can show you why. Let's see if I can find a different photo of this card. Let's see which one. Okay, this isn't the greatest photo, but I think this one will do. All right, let me pull this out into a side by side. Can I blow that up? Okay, good. Oh, come on. Why is... Can I open this image? Alright, here we go. Alright. Let me give you a side by side here. Okay? So, the one on the left is what I suspect... Oops. Sorry, guys. Let me bring those up again. Just want to close the gap here. The one on the left is what I suspect to be a counterfeit card. For one, like I told you, the counterfeiters, for whatever reason, don't like to print the LSI logo. So you'll see that it's completely missing here. Okay, usually over here, you see in the right picture, this is what I believe should be a genuine card, and you will see that there's the LSI logo, right? Okay, so this is missing. Now, the second tell here is the heatsink. Look at the heatsink. This is a plain black heatsink, and it's attached by two plastic pegs. Okay, the genuine one has a more elaborate heatsink. It's larger. Okay, you'll see how it extends beyond the hole by 2 rows of fins. This one stops right there, right? So, and then you'll notice that the pins that are holding the heatsink down are brass. Okay, so this is definitely, in my mind, a counterfeit, and I would never get something like this to sell to you guys on my store. Even if this was known to be reliable and works, and I suspect it is the same chipset, you know, so these things get manufactured in China, and the story I've heard is that basically a lot of these factories that make this stuff, you know, they'll just keep running their factories after hours sometimes and make a few extra thousand chips, and, you know, who knows where these chips go and what happens to them. But But basically, you know, that's how some of the stuff shows up on the market. Okay, and then on top of that, if you look around, you'll notice some of the components are a little bit different. Like this design of this inductor here and here, different component. You know, and it's, you know, it is possible for different revisions of genuine cards to have slightly different components, maybe improved components and whatnot. But you can tell already that there's just something not exactly right about this. Okay, so that's one way to spot counterfeit LSI cards. Look for the logo, look at the heatsink. I often find that for whatever reason the counterfeiters cut corners on the heatsink. So this heatsink is larger. The brass pins, you know, probably cost more than the plastic pins, and the fin design here is much more elaborate than this simplistic design. So I assume that this heatsink was just a lot cheaper to manufacture, and so they used that instead. Okay, all right, so let's go to the next one here. So yeah, this one also, this basically looks like the one we were just talking about, just packaged differently. It looks like it comes in a yeah, it comes in a nice box and all that stuff, and has some driver CD, which, you know, okay, so this is kind of sketchy. It says it includes the drivers for LSI, Marvel, AS Media. Okay, so look, if this was coming from LSI, they would not include the drivers for other manufacturers. Okay, so that's definitely not some official driver CD or DVD or whatever it is. It's, you know, if it came from LSI, it would just have LSI drivers. It would not include Marvel and AS Media and other stuff. So yeah, that's sketchy. And again, this is, you know, you can tell from the picture on the right, this does not look the same. It has all the same issues with the one that we just looked at previously. Okay, so next one here. So this is a 9300 8i. Okay, let's see if we can find a picture here to show you the difference. Let me look for something just a little bit larger so we can get a good look at this. Alright, I think maybe this will be good. No, don't. Let me, can I just open this in the new tab instead? Okay. Alright, so let's pull this up. Can I get, okay. Alright, so here is a 9300, a SAS 3008 HBA card, right? And you can tell the difference. Again, here you see the LSI logo by the PCI connector. So this is what I suspect. You know, I don't know for sure, right? But maybe this is a really great counterfeiter, so I say I suspect. But in most likelihood, this is a genuine card. And this is the same as the genuine cards that I've sold of this particular model. And if you look at this card that claims to be the same card, the LSI logo is missing, right? It's not there. Okay, and the board design is also kind of different, if you've noticed. There's just components layout here and here are very different. So, you know, and that really kind of takes a much closer eye. If you're not looking at these things all day long, you know, you might not be able to tell how that is different. But, you know, you can tell right now when I'm side by side, you can see how they're different. But another giveaway, you know, or another tell is that look at the heatsink again, right? So this is a much more elaborate heatsink. You've got the brass pins. You know, this, again, it looks like it has plastic pins holding the heatsink down. The heatsink is a little bit different design. It looks a little bit larger. Okay, and the SFF 8643 ports are in roughly the same location, but again, the board design is different. You'll see here is a flash chip. This is probably the flash chip for the firmware, and this looks a little different here. I think maybe the flash chip for this is on the back side of the card, so I don't know, but okay, yeah. So anyway, definitely this does not look genuine to me. All right, so those are some of the counterfeit stuff that you might see on eBay, and I just want you guys to be aware of that. Now, certainly the counterfeit stuff is usually a little bit cheaper. So hey, you know, sometimes you're on a budget, and that extra $10, $20 savings, you know, might mean a lot to you. Who knows? You know, everybody's in a different situation. You know, so if you're going to go ahead with a counterfeit card because that savings means quite a bit to you, you know, just be aware that there might be problems with it later down the road. You know, who knows? Certainly the heatsink design looks different, looks less. So, you know, maybe the cooling capability isn't as great with the counterfeit cards, but, you know, you can compensate with that, right? I mean, like, counterfeit or not, like, you can always compensate with, you know, whatever problem you're facing, you can always compensate. You can put more fans in your case or something like that. But anyway, I just want you guys to be aware that when you're shopping on eBay or Amazon, apparently for Xeon CPUs, there are counterfeits out there. I don't normally recommend them, but, you know, I can understand someone saying, hey, you know, this was just a lot cheaper and that's the budget I got and that's what I can afford. You know, hey, I've been in situations like that. So, you know, I don't judge. But just be aware that, you know, it's likely a counterfeit and there are consequences to making that choice. But hey, you know, if you've bought a counterfeit card, or if you're watching this video and you just realize, like, oh my god, I just bought a counterfeit card, or I bought a counterfeit card in the past, I would actually really like to know. I know there's not a lot of good data out there in terms of people reporting, hey, you know, my counterfeit card only lasted 3 months or a year, or hey, my counterfeit card's been working fine for the last 10 years. You know, so who knows? I mean, maybe they're just fine. So if you just realized you bought a counterfeit card, or you've already known you've bought a counterfeit card, I'd really like to know how it's been. You know, has it worked well? Have you run into problems? Did it fail prematurely? Leave a comment in this video to share with other people here who are watching this video. I think that would be really great information to know. I mean, who knows? Maybe these counterfeit cards are really, you know, great quality, and there's just this, you know, wonderful opportunity for people to save a few bucks and get stuff that works just fine. I don't know. You know, I avoid the whole counterfeit thing entirely. It's just for myself and certainly for anybody who's buying from me. So yeah, please let me know if you're watching this video and you've used a counterfeit card before. You know, let us know what your experience has been with that. Be really curious about that. I know people posting their experiences isn't going to be a scientific, you know, statistically significant survey or anything like that, but it would just be good information to know. All right. So anyway, I hope this helps you guys out there. Please be aware of what you're buying out there, especially, I mean, at least these so-called counterfeit cards, LSI cards, at least they work as they're supposed to. But, you know, in that Serve the Home article, I mean, those Xeon processors, that's just horrible because, you know, if you plug the wrong processor in the wrong socket, you know, you could have some problems. You could ruin some other components, and that would be really bad. And, you know, even if that wasn't the case and it worked, but it worked as a different processor, I mean, you still, you paid for something that, you know, that was lesser than, or you got something that was less than what you paid for. So definitely I would avoid those things, and I hope that this helps you guys out, especially I know that a lot of newcomers who are entering this home lab hobby, setting up servers for the first time in their home, and, you know, just not that familiar with the enterprise gear. Unfortunately, I'm sorry, there's just a lot of that kind of counterfeit activity going on, you know, on eBay and Amazon. So just be wary and do your research, okay? All right, so anyway, I hope you like this. Give me a like, okay? And if you've got friends out there who are, you know, in the same boat buying this stuff, I mean, share this video out, okay? I really like to get this message out to as many people as possible because, you know, for a while there, I wasn't aware of this counterfeit. I mean, I've been aware for several years now, but, you know, in the beginning, I certainly wasn't aware that this type of stuff was circulating on the marketplace and so easily accessible. Yeah, you know, share this with your friends who might benefit from this, okay? So anyway, please give me a like if you like this video, and subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already, okay? Thanks a lot, guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye.